I was going to write a last minute preview about zombies like I did last year, but I'm knackered, so I thought I'd just put it in a wee video instead. Here's what I'm thinking heading into Black Ops 7 Zombies and beyond. I think most people have already kind of made their mind up on how they feel about this game. It's not ideal that it's coming right after Black Ops 6. From everything we know, it feels like a half step, more a complete overhaul, which it is to be expected, even though, you know, traditionally every new Zombies game would expand the mode in some way. If you enjoyed Black Ops 6, I don't think you'll have many issues at all with Black Ops 7. Say if you're getting tired of the modern Zombies formula or you've never liked it, it's probably a harder sell. I do think there are changes in there that should make it more focused on classic Zombies gameplay. Perhaps not to the extent, you know, of a Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, but I do think overall, gameplay-wise, we're heading in the right direction. Ashes of the Damned is probably the best map we could have hoped for at launch because it directly addresses one of the biggest issues that most of us had in Black Ops 6, which was that every map kind of felt samey. It's just an area and you're killing zombies in it. There's not that much to separate each experience. Outside of Terminus and maybe Reckoning, there's no real gimmick to most of the maps, apart from their wonder weapons. Have an old Tessie on the map that you can upgrade and move from point to point. It should provide a fairly unique experience. You know, it might feel a wee bit like Outbreak or Modern Warfare Zombies, but in terms of a round-based map, Ashes of the Damned is fairly unique. And that's what I'm hoping for in the post-launch maps as well, you know, with different ways to play. It doesn't always have to be a reinvention of the wheel. When you compare Mob of the Dead and Shadows of Evil, Beast Mode and Afterlife are basically the same mechanic, but they're used in different ways to diversify the gameplay of their maps. So that's the main thing I'm hoping for. Each map feels like an experience rather than a map, if that makes sense. We also have survival mode returning, which personally I'd take one or two survival maps a season over all the different LTMs we've had during Black Ops 6. Survival maps add a bit more longevity. Obviously LTMs get taken out of the game after about a month anyway, but even if they were to stay, probably rather play survival. That's just the kind of player I am. It's going to be interesting to see the fallout from Cursed mode. I think there are quite a few people who aren't going to enjoy the mode, who think they are at the moment. Potentially was a mistake to lean so heavily into it's like a classic mode. Obviously it's got a lot of elements of classic zombies that I'm looking forward to, but it's not going to be a one-to-one. It's not going to play like Black Ops 3. I think it'll play closer to Black Ops 3 than any zombies game has since maybe Black Ops 4, but if you are going into it, you know, expecting zombies as the way it used to be, you might be disappointed. What draws me to the mode, at least the concept of the mode from what we know, is that it's taking the things from Classic that we really want to see return, like the point system, and using those fan favourite features to forge a new path. Now, to me, this feels like something that if Treyarch can stick with it and kind of work with us, listen to our feedback, react as best they can, by the end of Black Ops 7 we could be looking at a really fun mode that can be used in all the maps. It doesn't sound like it's going to be available in survival maps. Hopefully there's a way that they can introduce at least unlockable modifiers into the survival maps. For instance, if you want to play with the 4 perk limit in survival, they can introduce that at some point. The biggest concern I have with Cursed mode is difficulty. I really hope it isn't like Modern Warfare Zombies with the rifts. As a predominantly solo player, they were horrible to play. The first couple were okay, but when you got into the later ones, the unstable rift, it was just, you'd be getting absolutely tanked by zombies left, right and centre. You wouldn't know what's actually hitting you for what damage. It was a nightmare. As always, the HUD's been a topic of contention. The Ethereum theme that Treyarch have shown off definitely helps make it feel more like zombies, but it's far from perfect. I appreciate the custom HUD and themes that they've put in this game, but they feel like a compromise. I do wonder if having a kind of universal HUD for multiplayer and zombies somehow speeds up development, makes it kind of easier to go between the two modes, but it would be nice if we could get a curated HUD for zombies. The vibe I kind of get is it's something they want to do, but there's just no time or budget. I don't really know. Despite Black Ops 6's many missteps, I'm feeling quite optimistic about the story of this game. I think setting everything in the Dark Ether makes it more focused. We can potentially draw a line under some of the things that haven't worked recently and take it back to focusing on the crew, and you know, we're not going to be wasting time hearing from Project Janus scientists that don't give us much information and don't matter. Balancing 2 crews does scare me though, because it's a big ask. It has been done before with Black Ops 4 had Chaos, Primus and Ultimus at launch, but Treyarch's a much different studio now than it was during Black Ops 4. A few people have moved on, but there are still familiar faces there, and it does seem like Craig Houston has been working on this game, so I'm cautiously hopeful. I know we can't put it all on one man, but Craig's done so much for the zombie story, it's comforting that his name's there, and if there was anyone, you know, that I'd say would do right by the original 4 characters, it's him. The bigger concern is probably about the Terminus Crew, to be honest. As expected, the marketing has all been a bit ripped off in Takio, Dempsey, Nikolai, but you do get the feeling that they might end up being cast aside because they aren't as marketable. You know, people do care about them, but maybe not as many people care as people do for the original crew. The Terminus crew were probably hit the hardest with all the issues with Black Ops 6. Terminus was a really strong start, I feel, but they increasingly get poorer and poorer, apart from a quote or a wee bit of intel here and there. Reckoning did do a good job of selling the conflict between them, but ultimately that didn't matter with the ending. You know, obviously it wasn't really an ending. I know the Modern Warfare Zombies intro is burnt in the mind of Requiem fans, and I've got no idea how they're going to approach that, to be honest. I'd like to think that if the crew get a good run in Black Ops 7, can take the mantle forward potentially from the originals, but I'm just not sure enough people care, unfortunately, which is on Treyarch to figure out. Regardless what happens with Black Ops 7's story, I just hope there's purpose. Whether we are looking back, looking forward, kind of half and half. Give us a reason to care and to theorise and speculate rather than looking at the story behind the story. The potential reasons that something's went wrong, you know. You can call me delusional, but I do think Chaos is somehow going to rear its head. Maybe not in the way that a lot of us want it to, but there were a lot of Chaos elements in Black Ops 6, so they kind of have to return at some point. That'll do for now. Let me know what you think. I enjoy doing those other videos, but they take a lot of time and a lot of work, so if you're interested in hearing me talk about zombies more off the cuff like this, you know, it's something I can look into. Keep an eye on the website as well, I'm sure I'll have something up over the launch weekend. And enjoy the party, I guess.